This also makes me think about is something that Peter Buffett said on the interview last week was only a girl becomes the mother of all children.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're empowering the girls, ultimately I kept thinking, and then the boys, because
Yes.
as a result, whether it's an immediate effect, which I would imagine there's going to be some immediate benefits as these boys and girls begin to interact this way.
Yes.
But then also when these girls become mothers to boys, they're going to raise boys confident and supportive of women.
Absolutely.
That see women in a stronger light. In a more powerful light, and I think that reduces all kinds of issues around crime and violence to women as well.
And that's what we're addressing also. It's great to focus on the girl child, but we have to know she's part of a community.
Mm-hmm.
She's eventually going to be a mother, and eventually going to be a wife. She's a daughter. She's a sister. So how do you let that child, that young girl, know that she can be all of this and be all of this well?
Yeah.
And then we've come up with a program where the young boys can be part of this too.
Yeah.
And so it's talking to your brother about what you want to be and all of that. And
that's great. Yeah, I think that's the next piece to a lot of this, and I see the work of girl effect, and I think there's going to be the follow-up is making sure that integration is happening with boys so that men don't grow up feeling emasculated or that they're cut off from something that they think their fathers had, some level of dominance that no longer exists.
Right.
I think that socially it'll be important for that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Well, let's see. There's so many things we could be talking about with the project, but what are some of the sort of future? You talked about expanding into other countries. You're expanding the number of fellows. What else do you see in the future? And then also, how can the audience of this website get engaged?
Well, I'd like for what we learn as fellows and what we're doing on the ground to actually be shared to everyone, to be shared to the social entrepreneurial space. Providing research, providing access to proper information on the ground instead of assumptions. And so we are trying to develop research teams, looking for great mentors, social entrepreneurs that may not be able to go to India, that's fine. You might have a 9-to-5 job, or you are thinking about starting your own enterprise. You can be a mentor to one of these fellows. And so that we're kind of bridging this whole gap in communication as well. So that would be sort of this long-term vision that I would have for the program. And in terms of the media, we have applications that are open right now, so I encourage those people that are graduating from university or master's program to apply for the fellowship for next year, as well as if anyone wants to sponsor a fellow or donate to our programs. Like I said, we're doing a cricket program, we have vocational training, and people always say a little goes a long way.
Yeah.
I have learned a little really does go a long way. If you think about $100 a year to educate a child, we spend $3 a day on coffee.
Yeah.
And it's such a cliche, but that one cup of coffee can go such a long way, and it doesn't take much at all. And we have great systems in place now to make sure that these children are getting the best education and get them out of poverty.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I know one of the questions that has come up a lot with people looking at microfinance and microlending is the effectiveness of it, and loaning money to projects that may or not be able to be paid back, and lots of issues. I wonder, what is your perspective on microfinance?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of controversy of microfinance, and particularly in Andhra or India, when there's been all these homer suicides, and it's actually effective. And I always say that whenever you're trying to create something new, you kind of have to push the boundaries, and microfinance is now with all of that, we're able to bring more regulation. But what is actually happening on the ground, most of these loans are going to women and co-ops of women, and it's not because they want to be these great entrepreneurs and have these shops and buy a house. Their money is going to earn more money for them to simply educate their child. And that's the bottom line, is that these loans are not really huge, they're not massive. Women are not going to buy houses with them. They're going to be using it to educate their child. And so when we talk about women empowerment, that's what these loans are doing. It's empowering one woman to then again go back and empower their girl child.
Yeah. And I mean, that really makes me think about sort of the longer scope view of investment, and really this sort of concept of patient investing, where we're looking at money that's really more sustainable in the long run when you're shifting the way people are educated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this work.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for coming to share it. I'll make sure on the website I include all the links to your work so people can connect, whether they're interested in being a fellow or contributing to the project.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.